Today we will discuss about the state of Tripura. Right? Today we are going to discuss about the state of Tripura. So, as you know, Tripura is one of the smallest states of India, and it is one of the northeastern states of India, seven sisters, and it is the you can say southwestern state among the seven sisters of India, right? So southwestern, extreme southwest, Tripura is there, right? So first of all, you will see that what type of the border of the state is there, right? So you can say that it is like this. It is formed like this, right? This is Tripura basically. This is a rough sketch, you can say, right? And as far as the neighbors of Tripura are concerned, on the northeastern part, there is Assam. There is Assam, you can see. And on the eastern part of the state, there is Mizoram. Mizoram, right? On the eastern part of the state. And the rest of the entire, you can say, rest of the entire, this part, right? Here lies Bangladesh. Here lies Bangladesh, right? Here lies Bangladesh. So it means the state of Tripura shares its border with two states of India, that is Assam and Mizoram, and its major border that is shared with the Bangladesh. That means international border. Approximately 84% of the total border of the state is an international border, which is shared with the Bangladesh, right? So this is important. So we can say that approximately 84% of the total border of the state, is international border, right? International border, right? So it means uh, there are the three, you can say, two states and one country, Bangladesh, right, which share border with this, you can say, Tripura, right? So as far as the Bangladesh is concerned, right, so the state has border common with Bangladesh, that is 856 kilometers, and its border common with Assam, that is only 53 kilometers, right, and its border common with Mizoram, that is only 109 kilometers. 109 kilometers, right? So, beta, sometimes the question can be asked like this, right? That with which of the following, with which of the following, of the following, the length of maximum length of Tripura's border, right? Tripura's border, right? So Tripura's border is shared, right? Is shared. So that can be the question, right? So it can be written, it can be given that one is Bangladesh, right? Second can be Assam. Second can be Assam, and third can be Mizoram. Mizoram, right? And right, and fourth can be given any other name. Let's suppose Meghalaya is there, right? So this type of simple question can also be even asked, you can say. right? So that means we should know that these are the neighbors of the state of Tripura, you can say, right? So I'm writing T here, T for Tripura, right? So T for Tripura. So this is the whole scene, right? This is the whole case. So this is there, right? And next to this, uh, right? So I would like to tell you about the name of the Tripura, right? So it is said that name of the Tripura, how the name developed, right? Tripura. It is said that you can say in, right? It is said that in a language, which is the language of the, the you can say people of Tripura, which is the original people of Tripura, right? So their language is basically Kokborok, right? So in Kokborok language, right? In Kokborok language, right? In Kokborok language, there are two words, which which are there are two meaningful words, right? So one is we can say that is twi, 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 and second is pura. Second is pura, right? And twi means we can say water. Twi means water, right? So twi means water, and pura means we can say near. Okay, so it means Tripura is a state which is near to water, right? So pura means water, right? Sorry, pura means near. So it means Tripura is a state which is near to water, right? So this is important to note that though 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 today it is not, but in the ancient times, right, the border of but in the past we you can say, right, the border of Tripura, right, touch with that you can say uh, Bay of Bengal, right? So the state of Tripura was extended up to the Bay of Bengal, right? Though today it is not like that, ठीक है, आज नहीं वैसा है, but पहले कभी किसी टाइम पे इसका जो बॉर्डर था वो ये जो स्टेट थी ये बे ऑफ बंगाल को टच करती थी किसी समय, right? So that is why इसका नेम ये बना है, which is near to water, right? So that is why it got this name. Okay, so this is the logic behind that why that state got this name, right? So it is important to remember, right? So the next important point here is that is you can say where the state is located, right? So one important point related with this is that right, state of Tripura, right, state of Tripura is sitting on, right, is sitting on the Tropic of Cancer, right? State of Tripura is sitting on the Tropic of Cancer, right? So जो कर्क रेखा है वो स्टेट ऑफ त्रिपुरा के बीच में से गुजरती है, right? So it is sitting on the Tropic of Cancer also. Okay, so that is there, right? So beta, you can be asked such type of very simple question, right? That which of the following statements, which of the following statements, right, about Tripura is are correct? About Tripura is are correct, right? So one is that Tripura, right? Tripura is, right? Tripura is the smallest state among the northeastern states of India. Among the northeastern states of India. So one is this. Tripura is the smallest state among the northeastern states of India. So एक statement उसने ये डाल दिया आपके लिए, right? And second statement उसने डाल दी कि Tropic of Cancer, right? Cancer, you can say, runs through the northern side of, right? Runs through the northern side of the state of Tripura, right? The state of Tripura. So second statement is this, right? Runs through the northern side of state of Tripura, right? And right, this is the second thing, right? And third is the, you can say, the entire northern border of the state, right, is shared with Assam, right? So this is the third statement which has been put there, right? Third statement which has been put there, right? And let's suppose these are the, you can say, three statements. Fourth can be there, right? Fourth can be there. We can say that you can say that Bodos is the is the largest spoken language, right, in the state of Tripura. Let's suppose the fourth is this, right? So this is the largest spoken language of this. So there are the codes. First code is, let's suppose, only one is correct, right? One only. And the second statement can be that you can say a one, and we can say, right, two are correct, one and two only, right? And let's suppose the third statement is there, two and three, 2, 3, and 4. Let's suppose, let me take this 2, 3, and 4, right? Only, right? And the fourth statement, fourth answer, let me take it here, that none of these, right? That none of these, right? So these are the four codes, four answers, right? So which is the correct choice here, in your opinion? Which is the correct choice, in your opinion? Tell me. Yes.
Sir, B.
B या D? B for Bombay या D? B for Bombay.
Bombay,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
सर शायद B है.
B for Bombay. Okay. Paramjit?
B sir.
D for doctor?
नहीं B sir, Bombay sir.
B.
Okay. B for Bombay. Okay. Akshat, would you like to tell? Okay. So, beta, see, first statement. Tripura is the smallest state among the northeastern states of India. So, do you know how many northeastern states are there?
7 sister sir.
8. Sikkim
Oh
is also
sorry,
included
Sikkim
in
is
the
sir, then
northeastern
D answer
ये तो सारा गलत हो
Yes
गया
sir,
जी।
yes sir.
Right.
D yes sir.
जान के पाने हो जी है जी।
So, beta, Sikkim is also
Sir, वो
included.
7 sister वाला ही concept ਦੇ ਮਾਚ ਰਿਹਾ।
Yes.
हाँ
सर
जी,
मैं
हाँ जी,
सोचा
हाँ।
सी पहला भी सिक्किम also included then I will be wrong.
Yes, because that is why you can commit the mistake there in examination also. No? So this is the purpose of putting such type of questions here, so that you may not commit mistake in your examination, right? So
Yes, yes, thank you,
sir. So beta, India's smallest state in terms of area, that is which?
Sikkim sir.
Sir, Goa सब तो
Goa.
smallest है
Goa,
से
Goa.
सारे।
Goa.
Then
Right.
Sikkim.
Yes, in terms of geographical area, Goa is the smallest state. Second smallest is the Sikkim, and third smallest is Tripura.
Yes sir.
Okay, so
Sir,
first
but
state.
population wise, Sikkim.
Yes, yes,
Is
yes.
there?
हाँ जी
Yes, sir.
हाँ
Yes.
जी सिक्किम
So beta, the first statement is wrong here, right? Now come on the second statement. Tropic of Cancer runs through the northern side of the state of Tripura. Check your map. Is
तो
it
ये
running through
नॉर्दर्न
the
साइड
northern
नहीं जाता
northern
नो
side?
सर
Right. So little you can say southwards from the middle of the state, right? State.
यस सर
Yeah. So it is that. So this is also wrong. Huh? The entire you can say northern border of the state is shared with Assam. This is also wrong statement, right? Because Bangladesh is also there, right? And Bodos is the largest spoken language in the state of Tripura. This is also wrong.
नो
So
सर
all statements are wrong. So that is why your answer will be D, means none of these, right? So better this is your answer. D means none of these. Okay. So ऐसी छोटी छोटी जो गलतियां होती हैं, राइट, सो इनको नोटिस किया करो, राइट, ऐसी गलतियां नहीं करनी होती, राइट. सो दैट इज व्हाई सबसे पहले तो इन चीजों का पता होना चाहिए कि नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स कौन सी है, राइट. सो वो इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्योंकि देखो उसी कॉन्सेप्ट की वजह से आपका ये गलत हो गया क्वेश्चन, है ना. सो ये
यस सर
छोटी
पूरे
छोटी
इको
चीजें.
दी
हाँ
वजह नाल ही
हाँ. सो बेसिकली मतलब जो when you sit for studying, right, so your observation should be quite, you can say strong, right. So that is the right. And the second thing, always study when your mind is cool, when your mind is stable. Otherwise it is of no use to pick the books and to, you can say, waste time, right, on just reading the pages, right. Your mind should be cool, your mind should be stable, right. And you should be sitting in comfortable position, right. So only then you will be able to you can say grab, right. So so this is there. And the next thing is that which we will discuss here is that uh, little little bit about the uh, so beta, uh, you can say by the beginning of the 17th century, by the beginning of the 17th century, right, by the beginning of the 17th century, right. So Tripura, by the beginning of the 17th century, Tripura was, we can say, Tripura became under the control of Mughal Empire. It became under the control of Mughal Empire. So that is there, right? Became under the control of Mughal Empire by the beginning of the 17th century, right? So in 1765, right? In 1765, when East India Company, when British East India Company, right? When British East India Company, right, got Diwani, D-I-W-A-N, right? Got Diwani rights. It means rights of financial administration, right? Got Diwani rights of Bengal, then part of the part of Tripura that was under that was that was under the you can say Mughal rule, right, was also transferred to the British. Was also transferred to the British, to the East India Company, you can say, right, was also transferred to the British, right. So then after that, in 1905, right, in 1905, what happened in 1905 at the time of partition of Bengal, in 1905, partition of Bengal happened by Lord Curzon, it was, right? Implemented by. So at the time of partition of Bengal, right? So Tripura was made a part of, right? Tripura was made a part of the new province, or was attached with the new province, you can say, right? Was made a part of the new province of East Bengal, and Assam. So that was the name of the new province at that time, right? East Bengal, and we can say Assam, right? So it became the part of that, right? And then what happened, right? So at the time of independence of India, at the time of independence of India in 1947, right? At the time of independence of India, Tripura was a princely state, just like the case of Manipur, and like the case of Jammu and Kashmir, like the case of Hyderabad, right? It was a princely state at that time, right? And was ruled by, and was right, and was ruled by, we can say, Bir Bikram Kishore Devaraman, ruled by Bir Bikram Kishore. Otherwise, you need not to remember this name, right? Bir Bikram Kishore Devaraman, right? Devaraman, right? Of we can say of Manikya dynasty, Maniky, of Manikya dynasty. So they were ruling here basically of Manikya dynasty, right? So, so the ruler of the state, agreed to, right? Annex the, agreed to, we can say, right? Merge the state, agreed to merge the state in the Indian Union, right? In Indian Union, right? Uh, but he, but he died before signing the agreement. And later on, right? The signature on the instrument of accession, which is an agreement, right? Instrument of accession, right, was put by his wife, right? So she was the president of, she was the head of the presidential council at that time, right? Was put by his wife, Kanchan Prabhadevi. So Kanchan Prabhadevi, right? So Kanchan Prabhadevi was the lady who put his signature on this instrument of accession in 1949, right? So we can say that, Tripura became a part of India in 1949, right? It means accession of Tripura to India, right? Accession of Tripura to India, right? To India took place in 1949, right? And in 1956, right? So Tripura became a union territory, right? Tripura became a union territory and was elevated to, statehood in 1972, right? So in 1972, it was made a state, elevated to statehood in 1972, right? So the next thing is that we will go on later to discuss this, but let me put here that the insurgency, right? So you can say raised its head in the state, in the state, right? So in Tripura, it is better to write in Tripura, right? So after it, you can say became a state. After it became a state in 1972. So तब तक सब कुछ ठीक ठाक था. 1972 में जैसे ये स्टेट बनती है तो वैसे ही वहाँ कुछ यू कैन से रेडिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस की फॉर्मेशन स्टार्ट हो जाती है, राइट. और उसके बाद फिर कुछ साल यू कैन से जो त्रिपुरा में काफी जो हाइट ऑफ यू कैन से इंसर्जेंसी वायलेंस हो रही, राइट. सो दिस इज द बेसिक थिंग देयर दैट इसका मर्जर हुआ है ना 1949 में. 1956 में ये एक यूनियन टेरिटरी बनी. 1972 में इसको स्टेट बनाया गया. उसके बाद फिर स्टेट के अंदर इंसर्जेंसी स्टार्ट होती है. सो दैट इज राइट. सो बेटा these are the very basic things which I am asking from you, right? Sometimes as I told you that this, as I told you that we can say this you can say Tripura, right? During the partition of Bengal in 1905, right? That was made or that was attached to the right province of East Bengal, and we can say Assam, right? So I have told you that, right? So beta, even sometimes such type of questions can be asked in your examination, which are you can say not at all right covered much in the books, and you must and those only depend on your we can say observations, right? So like just I am taking one question, right? Which of the following right territorial areas, right? Territorial areas in territorial areas right? Territorial areas in present day, right? In present day India, you can say, right, was not affected by, right, was not affected by the partition of Bengal, was not affected by the partition of Bengal, right? So इनमें से कौन सा एरिया है जो बंगाल की पार्टीशन से अफेक्ट नहीं हुआ, जो 1905 में बंगाल की पार्टीशन हुई थी, राइट? सो यहाँ मैं लेता हूँ नंबर 1, लेट्स सपोज हियर इज ओडिशा, राइट. नंबर 2, लेट्स सपोज हियर इज बिहार, right? And number 3, let's suppose here is Tripura, right? And number 4, let us suppose here is Mizoram, right? So these are the 4 areas, 4 territorial areas which I have mentioned here, right? So now I am giving the codes here. Suppose the first choice comes, that is 3 only, right? And the second choice comes, that is we can say 3 and 4, right? 3 and 4 only, right? And the third choice, let's suppose here comes, that is we can say that is a 1, 2 and 4 only, right? 1, 2 and 4 only. And the fourth choice which I am taking here, that is let's suppose none of these. Okay. Guess, any wild guess?
C.
C, 1, 2 and 4, okay? Okay, C, 1, 2 and 4, right? So Better see partition of Bengal. Affected what? Affected Bengal. You know, right? And during the partition of Bengal, right at that time, right, Odisha, Bihar were part of Bengal,
Okay, sir.
right? So these areas got affected. Tripura also got affected. Mizoram also got affected because Mizoram was part of the Assam at that time, right? So that means none of these is the answer. So all were affected by the partition, right? So हम खाली बंगाल देखते हैं ना, तो हम हमारे माइंड में वेस्ट बंगाल ही आता है, राइट? सो
हाँ
नहीं,
जी सर, मैं तो ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉੜੀਸਾ और ਬਿਹਾਰ ਬਾਰੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਹੀ ਹੁਣ ਪਤਾ ਚੱਲਿਆ ਕਿ
ओके 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 ठीक है। सो 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 फिर आज इसको स्टडी करना, ठीक है, उड़ीसा बिहार में, राइट? हाँ हाँ, वो कौन सा बंगाल था, है ना, राइट? या वो कौन सा बंगाल फिर बना बाद में, है ना, उसमें क्या आया क्या गया, ये देखना है, right? So that is important, right? So the next is we can say languages spoken in the state, right? So languages spoken in the state, right? So as far as the languages spoken in the state are concerned, right, here I would tell you that we can say the languages spoken, the major languages which are spoken in the state are, right, the major languages which are spoken in the state are, you can say, right? So major languages which are spoken in the state are, right? So those languages include, that is the Bengali, right? Bengali, major language spoken. And second major language which is spoken in the state, that is the, we can say, Kokborok, which we have just discussed before that, right, in the beginning of the lecture. So Kokborok is the second major language which is spoken in the state, right? Kokborok is the second major language which is spoken in the state, right? So the largest majority of the state speaks the Bengali language, right? So the largest majority of the state, you can say, speaks which language? They, you can say, speak the Bengali language, right? So approximately you can say 2/3 of population of the state speaks Bengali language, right? Two-third population of the state speaks Bengali language, and approximately you can say 1/4 population of the state speaks this, you can say, Kokborok language, right? And so the other languages are spoken in the state, right? So other than the major languages which are spoken in the state, we can say that other languages spoken in the state are, right? So other languages which are spoken in the state are, right? So other languages include, you can say, there are one language is, I can say, the that is the English, right? So English is one of the official languages. English and Bengali are the two official languages of the state. So English is there, right? And the other language which is spoken here, that is, we can say, the Hindi, right? Hindi is another language which is spoken here, right? So the other language which is spoken in the state, that is, we can say, Manipuri, right? Manipuri is also spoken in the state, right? And the other language spoken in the state, that is, we can say, we can say Chakma language also. So that means there are so many languages which are spoken in the state, right? So later on, we will have little more insight into this, right? So this is there about the languages which are spoken in the state, right? So now the next to this, right? So I'm coming on the sixth schedule, right? Sixth schedule, right? So as far as the sixth schedule is concerned, right? We are discussing the sixth schedule for the last some days, right? Few days. So beta, as far as the sixth schedule is concerned, we can say that Tripura falls under the 6th schedule, right? So that is important. Tripura falls under the 6th schedule, right? Under the 6th schedule. So Tripura 6th schedule के अंदर fall करता है. This is the one important thing, right? And the second important thing is we can say to mention here that right, autonomous district council, right? Autonomous district council has been formed there. Tripura Autonomous District Council, right? So Tripura Autonomous District Council, right, is formed there. The district council is there. District council is there, right? So district council is there. वहाँ एक ही district council है because state बहुत छोटी है, 4 districts हैं state के. So that is why इतनी छोटी state में बहुत ज़्यादा district councils बनाने का कोई purpose नहीं था, right? So autonomous district council is there, right? Which covers autonomous district council is there. We can say which covers about, right? Which covers about, you can say, which covers about more than two-third, right? 68%, little more than two-third, 68% of geographical area of the state. Geographical area of the state. Of the state. So ये state के 68% geographical area को ये cover करती है. And then क्या है? It covers 1/3 of the population of the state, right? So 1/3 of the population of the state approximately, right? 1/3 of the population of the state. So this is covered by this, right? 1/3 of the population of the state, right? Population of the state. Okay. So this is about this, that you can say autonomous district council is there, which is formed, right? So the old name of the Tripura was known as Tirath Desh. In ancient times, it was known as Tirath Desh, right? Tirath Desh, right? So the mention of Tripura is found in, right? The mention of Tripura right, is found in, right? We find the mention of Tripura in Purans, right? Purans, in Mahabharata, right? And तीसरा है, then we can say Ashoka's edicts, right? Edicts. So Ashoka ने जो शिलालेख लगवाए थे, so वहाँ भी इसका mention मिलता है Tripura, right? So this is basically there, and keep it in mind that Tripura is the third smallest state of India. Right? So beta, before moving further, right? So I would like to tell you a little more here, that you know one thing, because Tripura is a neighbor state of Bangladesh. It is very much clear to you, right? And we all know that Bangladesh was formed in the year. Bangladesh was formed in 1971, right? War of Freedom of Bangladesh was fought, right? In which India also intervened at that time. So Bangladesh was formed in 1971, right? And important is that after the formation of Bangladesh, right? After the formation of Bangladesh, so Bangladesh की formation के बाद India and Bangladesh, we can say Bangladesh signed, right? India and Bangladesh, we can say, signed a land boundary agreement. Signed a land boundary agreement, right? Signed a land boundary agreement, right? So that was signed there between the two countries, right? So basically, let me show you the map also. I want to show you the map also, right? Let me download it for my, you can see that. So this is there, beta. So one, just 1 second, 1 second. Showing you the map also. Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
okay, okay. So beta, see in this map, right? These dots with the red. You are seeing now these dots, these red, right? Where the cursor is there now.
ਹਾਂਜੀ sir.
So okay, you are seeing that now. So beta, these areas, right? These areas, you can see this, right? And this area, right? So these were the some villages, some enclaves, some pieces of land of Bangladesh which were in India, right? Which were in India. Is it clear? And these dots which are in the green, these dots, visible now? These green
Yes
dots,
sir.
right? These are some villages or territories of India which were left in the Bangladesh, right? So now what was the problem there from we can say administrative point of view, right? So better let me take this particular example, this red dot, right, which is there, right? This is the Bangladeshi territory which is where in India, right? Right? So better this territory has no connection with the state of Bangladesh. Is it clear? Has no
Yes.
connection. It is completely cut off from the Bangladesh, right? But it is lying entirely in India, right? So, beta, now what was the problem? That you can say, if these people have to, right, go from their home to the Bangladesh for some administrative work, है ना? Let's suppose उन्होंने लाइसेंस बनवाना है, राशन कार्ड बनवाना है, उनका कोई उनका कोर्ट केस है ना? उन्होंने वो कोर्ट केस लड़ना है, राइट? जब बच्चों ने पढ़ने जाना है ना? सो बेटा ठीक है, या बेटा किसी ने कोई ठीक है मतलब हेल्थ सर्विस के लिए जाना है, सो बेटा क्या है, इन लोगों को बेटा इंडियन टेरिटरी के बीच में से गुजर के जाना पड़ेगा, राइट? सो उसके लिए बेटा आपको चाहिए होगा परमिट, वीजा चाहिए होगा, है ना? अदरवाइज नोबडी विल अलाउ यू टू क्रॉस थ्रू, राइट, इट्स टेरिटरी. Is it clear? So that was the one problem, right? And right
Yes,
and
sir.
right and but a second problem was that when this territory falls out of the Bangladesh, but you can say administratively it belongs to Bangladesh, but geographically it is we can say entirely isolated, cut off from the Bangladesh, right? So better in that case, better Bangladesh would not take much interest for the development of the infrastructure in this part. Why? Because Bangladesh would not be having any advantage. It would be difficult for Bangladesh to reach there, right? So beta, that is why इन लोगों की जो सोशियो इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट है वो बहुत पीछे रहेगी, राइट, ड्यू टू दैट। एंड बेटा थर्ड नंबर पे क्या है बेटा कि नो इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट वुड कम टू पुट हिज मनी हियर इन दिस टेरिटरी, बिकॉज कल को पता नहीं क्या हो जाए, राइट, पता नहीं कल को वार ही हो जाए, है ना, इंडिया की बांग्लादेश के साथ, जब पता नहीं क्या हो जाए, राइट। सो बेटा ऐसी सिचुएशन में नंबर वन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन डिफिकल्ट है, वहां जाकर के लॉ एंड ऑर्डर कंट्रोल करना डिफिकल्ट है, राइट। जो लोगों ने सर्विसेज लेनी है, जो गवर्नमेंट ने लोगों को सर्विसेज देनी है, वो डिफिकल्ट है, राइट। और ऐसी टेरिटरीज की इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट नहीं होती, इज इट क्लियर ना, इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट नहीं होती। सो एंड बेटा सिमिलरली देयर इज वन एग्जांपल, ये देखो, ये एक छोटा सा, ये एक पड़ा है ग्रीन डॉट, यहाँ पड़ा है, यहाँ, इज इट विजिबल, है ना। सो ये क्या
यस
है,
सर।
हाँ सो बेटा ये क्या है, ये बेटा इंडिया की टेरिटरी है ना, जो पूरी तरह से बांग्लादेश के अंदर है, राइट। सो बेटा वही हाल यहाँ इसका है, राइट। गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया वुड नॉट कम टू वुड नॉट लाइक टू कम हियर, राइट, अफोर्ड नहीं करेंगे। सो वही हाल यहाँ इसका है, राइट। सो बेटा दैट इज व्हाई ये पहले की प्रॉब्लम चल रही थी बांग्लादेश के बनने से पहले की, लेकिन बांग्लादेश के बनने के बाद 1974 में दोनों कंट्रीज के लीडर्स थे जो वो बैठे, उनकी मीटिंग हुई, वो कहते कि हम ये जो टेरिटरीज का हम कुछ सोल्यूशन निकालें। सो उसमें फिर उन्होंने सोल्यूशन क्या निकाला था कि जो टेरिटरीज इंडिया की बांग्लादेश के अंदर है तो वो इंडिया बांग्लादेश को छोड़ देगा, और जो टेरिटरीज बांग्लादेश की इंडिया के अंदर है, राइट, वो टेरिटरी मतलब बांग्लादेश इंडिया के लिए छोड़ देगा, राइट। सो पहले नेहरू के टाइम से ये एफर्ट्स चल रही थी, बट द प्रॉब्लम क्या थी कि हर कंट्री चाहता था, इंडिया चाहता था कि जो बांग्लादेश में हमारी टेरिटरीज है ना, ठीक है, तो इंडिया, राइट, इंडिया चाहता था कि ये वाली टेरिटरी मान के आप दे दो हमें, है ना, लेकिन अपना छोड़ने के लिए तैयार नहीं था कोई भी, वैसे ही बांग्लादेश चाहता था। सो दैट वाज द मेन प्रॉब्लम, है ना। तो इंडिया चाहता था कि आप हमें एक्सेस दे दो इनकी, है ना, लेकिन बांग्लादेश को मतलब एक्सेस देने को रेडी नहीं था, ऐसे ही बांग्लादेश कर रहा था। सो दैट इज व्हाई ये मामला लटक रहा था। 1974 में दोनों कंट्रीज के लीडर ने बैठ के इस मामले को सुलझाया और एक लैंड बाउंड्री एग्रीमेंट साइन हुआ। उसके मुताबिक ये हुआ कि हम ऐसा करते हैं, ये बाउंड्री के बियॉन्ड जो इंडिया की टेरिटरीज हैं, ये जो इंटरनेशनल बॉर्डर है, ठीक है, इसके बियॉन्ड जो भी इंडिया की टेरिटरीज हैं वो इंडिया बांग्लादेश को छोड़ देगा। जैसे ये सब जो ग्रीन डॉट्स हैं ये हमने बांग्लादेश के लिए छोड़ दिए हैं, इंडिया बांग्लादेश को छोड़ देगा। और ये जो रेड डॉट्स हैं ये बांग्लादेश की इंडिया में टेरिटरीज है, ये बांग्लादेश इंडिया को छोड़ देगा। इज इट क्लियर?
यस सर।
So
Yes, sir.
1974 में दिस एग्रीमेंट वाज साइंड, राइट। ये बेटा टोटल ये कितनी एनक्लेव्स हैं बेटा, ये टोटल बेटा 162 एनक्लेव्स हैं, 162, राइट। और बेटा इन 162 एनक्लेव्स में से बेटा सिचुएशन क्या थी बेटा कि वी कैन से 111 enclaves of India were in Bangladesh, and we can say 51 enclaves of Bangladesh were, we can say, in India, right? So इंडिया की बांग्लादेश के अंदर 111 ऐसी थी एनक्लेव्स, और बांग्लादेश की इंडिया के अंदर ऐसी 51 एनक्लेव्स थी। सो ये एग्रीमेंट साइन हुआ था कि हम इसको एक्सचेंज कर लेंगे, राइट, स्वैप कर लेंगे, इसको टेरिटरी स्वैप कहते हैं। इज इट क्लियर? सो बेटा क्या हुआ, जब जो भी इंटरनेशनल एग्रीमेंट होता है, whenever an international agreement is signed and that is required to be approved by the parliament of the country before it is implemented, right, before it comes into force, right. मोदी साहब कोई भी एग्रीमेंट जाके फॉरेन में करके आ गए, राइट, वो तब तक इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं होगा भारत में, राइट। भारत के लिए वो बाइंडिंग नहीं होगा जब तक भारत की पार्लियामेंट उसको पास नहीं कर देती, समझे? सो ये होता है मेन, राइट? सो बेटा 1974 में दिस एग्रीमेंट वाज एंटर्ड इनटू एंड द पार्लियामेंट ऑफ बांग्लादेश ratified this agreement in the same year. बांग्लादेश की पार्लियामेंट ने तो उसको अप्रूव कर दिया था, राइट? बट द पार्लियामेंट ऑफ इंडिया could not approve this, could not ratify this agreement, right? till you can say 2015, right? 2014-15 तक वो नहीं कर पाई थी, इसको अप्रूव नहीं कर पाई थी, right? And better then what happened when the new Modi government came in the center, so then this move was, we can say, expedited, and the agreement was ratified by the parliament of the country. And then in 2015, this land boundary agreement was implemented, right? In 2015, this got implemented. Is it clear, beta? In 2015, this got implemented.
Yes, sir.
Right? So beta 2015 में what happened? Territory exchange happened between India and Bangladesh. Right? What happened? Territory exchange happened between India and Bangladesh. Right? Territory exchange happened, which is called the territory swap. Right? Between India and Bangladesh. So वो हुआ between India and Bangladesh. So वो हुआ, right? दोनों कंट्रीज में, ठीक है? सो हमने 111 एनक्लेव्स उनको छोड़ दी, 51 उन्होंने हमारे लिए छोड़ दी है, और ये जो प्रॉब्लम थी ये हमारी रिजॉल्व हो गई है आज. इज इट क्लियर अप टू दिस पॉइंट बेटा?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Very much clear.
Sir, but till this time, the administration was done like that only, like old pattern.
मींस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन,
So till the administration of these territories was done like the old patronage only, old pattern only.
yes, till you can say 2015, right? The Indian enclaves in Bangladesh was administered by India.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that
And sir, Bangladesh is enclave, those were administered by Bangladesh only.
ऑब्वियसली ठीक है, जब उनकी टेरिटरी है तो कौन देगा हमें राइट उसको, है ना, उसको एडमिनिस्टर करने का? सो वो तो प्रॉब्लम रहेगी फिर. सो बेटा दैट वाज देयर, राइट? सो बेटा नाउ what type of question can be asked? Let's suppose, right, on this basis, right, the question can be asked that which of the following Indian states were affected, right, were affected by the territory exchange, right, by the territory swap, right, between the two countries, between India and Bangladesh, in 2015, right? जो इंडिया एंड बांग्लादेश में 2015 में टेरिटरी स्वैप हुई थी, उसकी वजह से भारत की कौन कौन सी स्टेट्स अफेक्ट हुई थी, राइट? सो ये क्वेश्चन बनता है, ठीक? सो मैं यहाँ लिखता हूँ नंबर 1, लेट इट बी असम, मैं यहाँ असम लिखता हूँ, राइट? नंबर 2 मैं यहाँ लिखता हूँ त्रिपुरा, राइट? नंबर 3 मैं यहाँ लिखता हूँ मेघालय, राइट? एंड नंबर 4 मैं यहाँ लिखता हूँ मिजोरम, राइट? एंड नंबर 5 पे मैं यहाँ लिखता हूँ वेस्ट बंगाल, राइट? सो इनमें से कौन सी अफेक्ट हुई थी? सो नीचे हम यहाँ कोड्स लिखते हैं, कोड्स. As far as the codes is concerned, first code is 1, 2 and 3, right? So the second code is, you can see 1, 2, 3 and 5. Let's suppose this is the second code, and the third code which I am going to write here is 1, 3, 4 and 5, right? And the fourth code which I am going to write here is, let's suppose, right? So that is we can say 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So yes sir. So इसका आंसर आपसे पूछा जा सकता है. So ये भी ऑब्जर्वेशन का एक क्वेश्चन है. पढ़ा बहुत लोगों ने होगा कि टेरिटरी स्वैप हुई, यहाँ पर छोड़ दिया होगा, लेकिन उस टेरिटरी स्वैप से कौन कौन सी स्टेट इफेक्ट हुई इंडिया की, वो बहुत सारे लोग छोड़ के चले जाएंगे एग्जामिनेशन में, राइट. सो इस
ਸਰ ਆਨਸਰ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਦੀ ਇਹੀ ਖਾਸੀਅਤ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਵਾਲਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਵੀ ਐਕਸਟਰਾ ਨੌਲੇਜ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ.
so beta that is the basic वो नीड है बेसिकली, राइट. सो बेटा इसमें क्या है, मिजोरम को छोड़ के बाकी सभी स्टेट्स अफेक्ट हुई थी जो मैंने यहाँ लिखी है, ठीक है. सो इट मीन्स दिस इज द आंसर, राइट. 1 2 3 4 sorry 1 2 3 and 5, these were the states which were affected by this, you can see again, right, by this territory swaps. Is it okay? So now I am moving further. So further we will take care about the 2011 census little bit, right, little bit, right. So ਇਸੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਪਰਮਜੀਤ ਮੈਂ ਕਈ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਸੰਦ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਸਰ ਸਲੋ ਬਹੁਤ ਕਰਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਸਾਰੇ ਇੱਧਰ ਉੱਧਰ ਲੈ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ.
ਨਹੀਂ ਸਰ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸਰ, ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਖੁਦ ਮੈਂ ਨਾ ਘਰ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਵੈਸੇ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਤੋਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਅਲੱਗ. ਮੇਰਾ ਬੇਟਾ ਹਰ ਵਾਰ ਨਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਬੰਦ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜੀ ਨਾ ਵਿਸ਼ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਤੇ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੰਮਾ ਮੈਂ ਸਿੱਧੂ ਸਰ ਕੋਲੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਲੈਣੀ ਹੈ, ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੀ.
ਅੱਛਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਉਹ 10th ਚ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਹੁਣ
ਸਰ 8th ਜਾਓ.
ਅੱਛਾ 8th ਅੱਛਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ
ਸਰ. ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟ ਆ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ.
ਨਹੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਚ ਵਧੀਆ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਨਾਲ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਸਰ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਚ ਵਧੀਆ.
Very good. So sex ratio. So as far as the sex ratio is concerned, right? So sex ratio is we can say 961, right? Which is above the national average. Which is above the national average of 940, right? Which is above the national average of 940. So according to 2011 census, the national average of sex ratio in India, that is 940 females per 1000 male, right. So sex ratio हम कैसे देखते हैं हमारे कंट्री में, right? हम sex ratio देखते हैं number of females, right, number of females per 1000 males. So this is the meaning of the sex ratio in our country, right, per 1000 males. Okay, so this is the right. So आपको एक फैक्ट मालूम है होना चाहिए कि थोड़ा सा जो सेक्स रेशो है वो नेचुरली मेल के फेवर में रहती है, राइट. जो मेल की सेक्स रेशो है वो थोड़ी सी ज्यादा रहेगी फीमेल से. द रीजन बीइंग जो मेल के अंदर जो इन्फेंट मोर्टेलिटी रेट है वो ज्यादा होता है एज कंपेयर टू फीमेल्स. सो दैट इज वाई उसका बैलेंस करने के लिए कुछ नेचुरल फैक्टर्स हैं, राइट. सो नेचर की तरफ से होता है कि थोड़ा सा जो मेल की सेक्स रेशो है वो थोड़ा फीमेल से ज्यादा रहे. जैसे मान लीजिए 1000 फीमेल्स हैं तो मेल्स 1000 2 3 4 रहेंगे, राइट. सो थोड़ा सा तो ये है. बाकी कुछ हमने जो मेल प्रेफरेंस की वजह से है ना, मेल चाइल्ड प्रेफरेंस की वजह से जो हमने जो कुछ और तरीके अडॉप्ट कर ले हैं, राइट, फीमेल फीटिसाइड एक्सेट्रा या केयर ना करना, सो उन चीजों की वजह से जो है मतलब वो और डाउन आ गई है जो फीमेल की सेक्स रेशियो है, राइट. सो दैट इज द. सो नाउ the next is there, right. So literacy rate in the state is 87.75% according to the 2011 census. 87.75%, right. So which is fourth highest in the state, which is fourth highest in the state. So this literacy rate is also above the national average, because the national average was 74.04% according to 2011 census, right? So, which is the fourth highest in the country, right? So, as far as the highest literacy rate is concerned, that is recorded in Kerala, right? So, in the state of Kerala, the literacy rate is was 93.95% according to the 2011 census, right? And the second highest literacy rate, that is in Lakshadweep, right? Lakshadweep, that is the right. So in Lakshadweep, you can say the literacy rate was 92.28%, right? 92.28%. And the third highest literacy rate, that is Mizoram, right? Which is, we can say, 91.58%, 58%. And the fourth highest literacy rate, that is Tripura, right? That is Tripura, right? That is Tripura. So this is 87.75%, as I have just told you, right? So it is the fourth highest in terms of literacy in the country, right? So we can say fourth highest if we consider the union territory also. But if it is asked among the states of India, right? So then your answer will be third, right? Because Lakshadweep is a union territory, Lakshadweep is not a state. So then your answer will be third, right? So the next, as far as the literacy rate is concerned, beta. So now there is one important thing. What is the meaning of literate in India? What is the meaning of literate in India? Right? आप लोगों को तो मालूम होना चाहिए क्योंकि आप तो सेंसस में इन्वॉल्व होते हैं. What is the meaning of literate in India? Yes, tell me. Simranjit, it is your turn now.
सर मेरे तो सेंसस च ड्यूटी नहीं लगी जी कदे भी.
अच्छा चलो. परमजीत.
ਸਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਲਿਖ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਸਕਦਾ, ਆਪਾਂ ਕੱਲ ਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ, ਆਪਣੇ ਸਿਗਨੇਚਰ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ.
ਓਕੇ.
ਇੰਡੀਆ 'ਚ ਉਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਲਿਟਰੇਟ ਮੰਨ ਲਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ.
ਚਲੋ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਚਲੋ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ
ਕਰਦੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਰ ਇਹੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ.
ਚਲੋ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਦੇਣਾ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ? in India डिस्कस करते हैं. In India, what is the threshold age? क्योंकि ऐसा बेटा ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੈਂਸਸ ਕਰਨ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ, when you go for the census, then there may be there are many individuals, right, who are just 1 month old, 1 year old, right, 6 months old. So beta they cannot be able to read or write, na? So in India, what is the threshold age for determination, right? For determination, we can say, of the literacy rate, right? एक हम एज रखते हैं कि ये एज से ऊपर के लोग देखने हैं कि whether they are able to read or write, right? So यहाँ मैं आपको ऑप्शन देता हूँ. One option is 6 years, right? So one option is 6 years, right? And the other option is, let's suppose, 7 years, right? And the third option is, let's suppose, 15 years, right? And the fourth option is, let's suppose, none of these. So tell me which one is correct. Which one can be your answer?
सर 15 ही लगता है जी, क्योंकि 14 तक आपा कंपलसरी एजुकेशन देना हुंदा है.
Okay. Yes.
ਫਿਰ ਜੇ 6 to 14 ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ 6 to 14 ਕੰਪਲਸਰੀ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਚ ਆਂਦਾ ਜਦੋਂ, ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਮੇ ਵੀ 6 अब 6 years ही आएगा फिर ਇਹਦੇ ਚ ਸਰ।
Okay, about 6 years. Okay, right. So anybody else? Aman, would you like to tell? Or Akshaj or Navreet? Anybody? No. Chalo. Beta the C, है ना? C, what you can say, pity, है ना? What a miserable condition that we are the literates of India, है ना? And we don't know what is the meaning of illiterate. है? कितनी बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है। So basically according to the 2011 census, okay, an individual who is, you can say, above 7 years of age and is and you can say is, we can say, able to read and write is termed as literate.
ਫਿਰ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਹੀ ਸੀਗਾ, ਮੈਂ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ 6 year ਤੋਂ ਉੱਪਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਹੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ।
ਹਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ, ਬਟ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਨਸਰ 6 ਕਰਨਾ ਸੀ ਨਾ। so it is, so yes ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਚਲੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਠੀਕ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਕੁਝ। तो 6 years, right? So basically क्या है कि सिमरनजीत thinks according to the, we can say, international standards, right? So as per the UNO, right? So that should be 15 years, right? So that is the threshold age, right? But you can say for India, it is 7 years, right? Right. So but at least we should, you know, कि literate कौन होते हैं, and particularly we the teachers must know. चलो कोई बात नहीं, रहता है क्योंकि जब किसी चीज की जरूरत ना हो तो नोटिस में नहीं आती, कोई बात नहीं, it happens like that, ठीक है। मुझे भी ऐसा बहुत कुछ नहीं आता होगा, so things happen like that, not an issue. So this is what we mean by the literacy here, right? So now the next thing is that climate, right? Climate of the state. So as far as the climate of the state is concerned, Navreet, are you there? Aman, are you there, beta?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Acha. Oh, I thought कि you are not appearing on the screen. I thought that कहीं आप सो ना गए हो। Akshaj, are you there?
Actually, sir, phone सामने रखा हुआ है नीचे लिखने वास्ते ही।
Yes, कोई गल नहीं बेटा। Oh, I know, phone ਦੀ प्रॉब्लम आ ਜਾਂਦੀ है। phone इन्नी देर ਤੁਸੀਂ हैंड च होल्ड नहीं करके रख सकते ना, so that's problem, है ना। बेटा तो बेटा एक ना वो स्टैंड मिलते हैं छोटे छोटे, है ना, ऐसे वो 30-40 रुपए के आ जाते हैं, ऐसे स्टैंड से, है ना। यू कैन यूज दिस टाइप ऑफ स्टैंड्स, राइट। आराम से इस पे रख के बैठ जाओ, ठीक है। ये मैंने मंगवाए थे गूगल पे, ना सॉरी अमेजोन से के थ्रू मंगवाए थे, है ना। ये मुझे बढ़िया लगे, है ना। आप इस, ठीक है, आप इसका मतलब एंगल भी जो मर्जी फिक्स कर लो, है ना, और जैसे मर्जी आप इसको सेट कर लो, वो मेरे को अच्छे लगे ये। तो ये 3 का पैक आया।
हाँ जी, ट्राई कर दें।
हाँ, ये ना 3 का पैक आया था, आई थिंक, पता नहीं कुछ कितने का था, लेकिन ये बहुत आपके लिए इजी है ना, सामने रख के बैठ जाए। So as far as the climate is concerned, beta, Tripura has, we can say, tropical savanna, right? Tropical savanna climate, SAVANNA. Tropical savanna climate is there in Tripura, right? So tropical savanna climate, right? So basically क्या होता है बेटा कि ये जो सवाना क्लाइमेट है, राइट, सवाना क्लाइमेट, this is the climate between the, we can say, dry places and the wet places, right? Intermediate होता है, right? एक होता है डेजर्ट जैसे आप सहारा डेजर्ट देखते हैं, राइट। सो एक डेजर्ट है, एक उसके नीचे आता है फिर यू कैन से फॉरेस्ट आते हैं, राइट। वेरी थिक वेजिटेशन जो कि इक्वेटर के आसपास आती है, राइट, वेरी थिक वेजिटेशन। और बेटा इन दोनों के बीच एक कोई इंटरमीडिएट जोन है जहां हमें मिक्स फीचर्स मिलेगी, कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स मिलेगी डेजर्ट की एज वेल एज फॉरेस्ट की, राइट। सो डेजर्ट में तो नो ग्रासलैंड, राइट, वेरी फ्यू ट्रीज, वेरी रेयर ट्रीज यू कैन से। फॉरेस्ट में very large growth of the trees, thick forests, right, thick canopy of trees will be there. And यहाँ जो होता है सवाना क्लाइमेट होता है, सवाना क्लाइमेट में बेटा क्या रहता है, there you will find the grasslands, right, grasslands, long grass, right, grasslands with you can say with some trees, right, with some trees होते हैं लेकिन कम होते हैं, right, with some trees, and the trees, right, trees don't grow very long, trees don't grow very long due to the lack of water, right. So बेटा it means क्या है कि ये जो डेजर्ट है, डेजर्ट पे क्या होता है बेटा, ड्राई कंडीशंस होती हैं, राइट, डेजर्ट पे ड्राई कंडीशंस होती हैं, एंड देयर इज नो क्लियर डिस्टिंक्शन बिटवीन द ड्राई एंड वेट कंडीशंस इन द डेजर्ट प्लेसेस, क्योंकि थ्रू आउट द ईयर इट रिमेन्स ड्राई, राइट। एंड बेटा इक्वेटर के आसपास जो आता है, राइट, जहां हम यू कैन से इक्वेटोरियल फॉरेस्ट कहते हैं, राइट। सो वहां पर बेटा क्या होता है कि बहुत ज्यादा रेनफॉल होता है, राइट, बहुत ज्यादा रेनफॉल होता है, एंड देयर इज आल्सो नो क्लियर डिस्टिंक्शन बिटवीन द वेट एंड ड्राई सीजन, राइट। सो बेटा सिमिलरली इंडिया में अगर हम देखते हैं, देयर इज वन सीजन विच इज द मानसून सीजन, राइट, देयर इज वन मानसून टाइप ऑफ क्लाइमेट, राइट। इन मानसून टाइप ऑफ क्लाइमेट द रेनफॉल is on the heavier side, means the rainfall is sufficient, or we can say above that, right, rainfall is on the heavier side, right. And savanna India में अगर हम बात करते हैं इसकी त्रिपुरा की, so savanna climate is that climate where the rainfall is less than the monsoon type of rainfall, right. So we can say less rainfall than ट्रॉपिकल मानसून क्लाइमेट। सो सवाना क्लाइमेट इज त्रिपुरा का जो क्लाइमेट है, ठीक है, वो ऐसा है जहां क्या है, लेस रेनफॉल, राइट, देन ट्रॉपिकल मानसून क्लाइमेट, राइट। सो ट्रॉपिकल मानसून के एक कंपैरिजन में यहाँ जो रेनफॉल है वो कम रहता है बेटा, देन ट्रॉपिकल मानसून क्लाइमेट, राइट, less rainfall than tropical monsoon climate, right. So that is why in Tripura you will find, you can say, tree studded grasslands, means mainly grasslands है, thick forest नहीं मिलेंगे in Tripura, right, but grasslands will be studded with the trees also, right. So then in Tripura we find, right, in Tripura we find, right, we can say tree studded grasslands, right, tree studded grasslands, not thick forests, so वहां हमें thick forest नहीं मिलते, mainly grasslands होती हैं, उनके बीच में, right, trees रहते हैं कहीं कहीं, so this is there, which is how, right. So that is the, right. So next है, आजकल तो बेटा इतने अच्छे आते हैं जो हमारे टेबल पे जो हम कंप्यूटर रखते हैं ना, है ना, सो वहां हमारा डेस्कटॉप या लैपटॉप पड़ा होता है, सो बेटा वहां कई बार हम माउस यूज करते हैं, ठीक है, तो हम कई बार मतलब माउस पैड यूज करते हैं हम, तो बेटा ऐसा आने लगा है बेटा कि मतलब 3-4 फुट का मतलब माइस का मतलब माउस पैड आने लगा है जिसके ऊपर मतलब वर्ल्ड का मैप बना देते हैं, ठीक है, उसको आप माउस पैड के लिए भी यूज करो और सामने आपके वर्ड का मैप भी पड़ा है, ठीक है। तो वो एटलीस्ट आप अपने मतलब के बच्चों को जरूर लेके दो, है ना, सो दैट जब बच्चे काम करें तो वो उनके सामने रहेगा वर्ड मैप हमेशा, राइट। सो वो भी आपको मुझे लगता है अमेजोन पे मिल जाएगा, राइट। तो वो आने लगे हैं, बहुत अच्छे, राइट। सो उससे क्या है कि बच्चों का बड़ा इंटरेस्ट बनेगा, बच्चे ने पढ़ते पढ़ते कुछ भी देखना है, बच्चा यहाँ उसके पास रेडी पड़ा है सामने, ठीक है।
हाँ जी सर।
हाँ, so I'm also planning to order one. I will check it. So that is why. So now the next. So ऐसी चीजों को आप ना एक्सप्लोर करें अमेजोन पे, ठीक है। सो हम लोग करते क्या है कि जब हम फ्री होते हैं तो अमेजोन पे, ठीक है, यू कैन से बेडशीट देख ली, है ना, सूट देख लिया, है ना, और चीजें देख ली, तो हम लोग मतलब टाइम उस पे स्पेंड करते हैं, है ना। टाइम आप ऐसी चीजों पे स्पेंड करो, ठीक है, मतलब इतनी अच्छी चीजें हैं वहाँ, अगर आपको चाहिए अपने आप को, है ना, फर्दर डेवलप करने के लिए, so there is no end, right? So the next thing is, beta, there are two important terms which they use. One is tillas and second is logos. Tillas and logos, right? So what do we mean by tillas, right? So here I would like to say that tillas are, right, tillas are small, tillas are small isolated hillocks, means hills, right, small isolated hills, जैसे हम पंजाबी में भी टिल्ला कह देते हैं, सो वो भी ऐसे ही होता है। सो एंड लोगास क्या है, लोगास आर we can say the narrow fertile valleys, means fertile valleys which are there, fertile valleys are called logas, right. So these are the two terms there which they use, right. So this is there, right. So in India Tripura has the highest number of primate species. Primate species, I will tell you, right. In India Tripura has the highest number of primate species, right. So there are total 15 primate species in India, and out of the 15 primate species, right, 5 primate species are in Tripura, right. Total 15 है, और उस 15 में से 5 प्राइमेट स्पीसीज ओनली एंड ओनली यहाँ है त्रिपुरा में, राइट. सो प्राइमेट स्पीसीज, बेटा, वी आर आल्सो प्राइमेट्स, monkeys are also primates, right. So primate species are those species, right, who have you can say who have developed their brain with time, right. So ये उनकी एक खास कैरेक्टरिस्टिक है, राइट, कि उन्होंने अपने ब्रेन को समय के साथ साथ डेवलप किया है, राइट. जैसे हम काउज ले लें, बफलोस ले लें, वो नहीं है प्राइमेट, राइट. सो त्रिपुरा में हाईएस्ट नंबर ऑफ प्राइमेट स्पीसीज इज फाउंड देयर इन द स्टेट ऑफ त्रिपुरा, वी कैन से. इज इट क्लियर अप टू दिस पॉइंट, बेटा?
Yes sir.
Okay. So next thing is we will come on the national parks, right. There are two important national parks in the state of Tripura, national parks, right. So as far as the national parks are concerned, there are two national parks in the state of Tripura, right, two national parks. So one national park which is there in the state of Tripura, that is you can say that is clouded leopard, right, clouded leopard, right, national park is there, national park. One is that. So I'm just coming to this, we will discuss this, right. So one is this clouded leopard national park, this is one. And the second national park which is there, right? So that we can say that is the Rajbari National Park. Rajbari National Park, right? So that is the second, right? So as far as this Clouded Leopard National Park is concerned, right? So Clouded Leopard National Park, it is home to primate monkeys, and langurs. Those are found here. Primate monkeys and langurs. And apart from that, beta, clouded leopard is also found there. Clouded leopard is also found there. Is also found there, right? So now about the clouded leopard. If we talk about this, that right, what are the characteristics that what type of this means something about those, right? So clouded leopard are medium-sized. One important thing is they are medium-sized wild cats. Medium-sized wild cats, right? Which occurs in areas, right? Which occurs in areas from foothills of Himalayas to Southeast Asia, right? To Southeast Asia and southern China So those are found there, right? Southeast Asia and southern China. Those are basically found there, right? So as per IUCN Red Book, so it is a vulnerable species, right? It is a vulnerable species. खतरे में है, but बहुत ज़्यादा खतरा नहीं है. According to IUCN Red Book, right? IUCN Red Book. So according to that, it is vulnerable species, right? So this clouded leopard is a state animal of Meghalaya, right? So it is a state animal of Meghalaya. ये मेघालय का state animal है, right? State animal of Meghalaya. So this is that. So ये एक state animal है. So this is of Meghalaya. So it has become extinct in Singapore and Taiwan, right? So it has become extinct in Singapore and Taiwan. Singapore and Taiwan में ये extinct हो चुका है. It has become extinct in Singapore and Taiwan. Singapore and Taiwan, right? It has become extinct there, right? So its hunting is banned in India. Its hunting is banned in India, right? इसकी hunting India में ban करती है, right? That is banned in India. And then the next important thing is that international clouded leopard day, right? International clouded leopard day is we can say, right, is observed every year on, we can say, August 4, since 2018. So 2018 से ये start हुआ है. Every year इसको observe किया जाता है. 4th of August को International Clouded Leopard Day that happens. right? So this is about this, right? So now the next, if we take, that is this Rajabari National Park. Rajabari National Park is home to, this is known for, basically this was uh, made for the conservation of the Indian gaur, right? Indian gaur, जिसको हम bison भी बोलते हैं, right? It is like a buffalo, वैसा होता है, ठीक है? And it is a vulnerable species according to IUCN Red Book, right? It is a vulnerable species, a vulnerable species, right? And beta, apart from that, right? इसको हम second है कि it is, you can say, it is a habitat of golden langur also, golden langur, right? So golden langur is a, you can say, endangered species. Golden langur is an endangered species. ये खतरे में है species, right? ज़्यादा खतरा है उससे, Indian gaur से, endangered species, right? So this comes there, right? And the next thing is that, in terms of, right? So in terms of natural rubber, क्योंकि वहाँ टी होती है, कॉफी होती है, रबर होती है, palm trees होते हैं, right? In terms of natural rubber, right? Natural rubber, Tripura is ranked second in India. After Kerala. Kerala के बाद second number पे आता है. Kerala is the largest producer of natural rubber in India, right? And the second comes the Tripura, right? That is the, right? Apart from that, as far as the industries are concerned, we can say, right? So brick, right? So we can say that brick manufacturing, or brick fields, we can say, brick manufacturing, and tea industry are the common, right? Are the common, we can say, the major, are the major industries, right? Major industries of the, ये त्रिपुरा की major industries हैं, are the major industries of त्रिपुरा, right? Organized industry है, organized sector में है, वैसे तो काम चलती रहती है, right? Major industries of त्रिपुरा, right? So we can say this is one important thing, right? So tea तो इसलिए because tea hill slopes पे होती है. टी एक ऐसा ट्री है जिसकी रूट्स में वाटर अकम्युलेशन नहीं होनी चाहिए. अगर रूट्स में वाटर अकम्युलेशन होती है तो वो जो टी का प्लांट है वो सरवाइव नहीं कर पाता. दैट इज व्हाई टी है जो उसकी कल्टीवेशन हिल स्लोप्स पे होती है, राइट? पानी आया और पानी बह गया, राइट? पानी उसकी रूट्स में डिपॉजिट नहीं होता. So this is the main problem. And the second is why brick manufacturing is popular here. So this point is important. That why brick manufacturing is important in this state of Tripura, right? Right. This is so. So now we will discuss about this. It will take approximately 5-6 minutes on its discussion, right? So as far as the brick manufacturing is popular there because of you can say laterite soil in Tripura, because of laterite soil in Tripura, because Tripura के अंदर laterite soil मिलती है, laterite soil, right? So अब हमें देखना है, let's suppose बेटा आपको यूपीएससी क्वेश्चन डालती है, मैं आपसे पूछता हूँ, क्योंकि अब तो सिमरन नहीं कह सकेगी कि ये मेरा नहीं है, क्योंकि सिमरन ने बॉटनी पढ़ी हुई है, ठीक है। सो राइट, सो विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स, which of the following statements about laterite soil, right, about laterite soil is are correct, is are correct, right? कौन सा है? Number 1, right? So laterite soil, right? Laterite soil appears, soils appear red, and they are rich in, we can say, iron and aluminium. One is this, right? They are rich in iron and aluminium. This is the one statement. Suppose this question is asked to you. Second statement, let us take that. All right. So laterite soils, right? Laterite soils are formed in, right? Laterite soils are formed in we can say. So these soils are formed in hot and wet climate. Right? These are formed in hot and wet climate. So this is the second, let us take, right, hot and wet climate. And third, let me take that, we can say, okay, laterite soils are poor in silica. Laterite soils are poor in silica. And let me take the fourth statement here, that you can say laterite soils are soft until exposed, and right, harden on exposure. So these are the 4 statements which are given here, right? So first, let me take its answer, that you can say 1 and 2, right? Take the second choice here, that is, we can say 2 and 3, right? 2 and 3. And let me take the next choice here, that is, we can say 1, 2 and 4, right? And let me take the next example, next code here, that is, let's suppose the 1, 2, 3 and 4. Will anybody of you able to answer this? Will anybody of you able to answer this video? Tell me if you can.
सर सी लगता है जी.
Okay. So बेटा इसके अंदर जो आंसर है, that is this, B. Right? All the 4 are correct. So now we will discuss a little about the laterite soils, so that this topic may also be covered here, right? So laterite soils के बारे में हम थोड़ा करेंगे, right? So as far as the laterite soil is concerned, so first important thing about the laterite soil here is that laterite soils are red in color, right? Due to the oxidation of iron. This is the one point. Second is rich in iron and aluminium. This is the second point, right? So third is formed in hot and wet hot and wet tropical, right? Hot and wet tropical areas, right? So mainly अगर हम इनको देखें, so these will be available in the areas in the region between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So mainly it is found there, right? Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So it is found there in between the two, right? Tropic of Capricorn. So it is found there in between the two, right? Hot and wet tropical areas. And then this soil is poor in silica, right? Because silica water में dissolve होके उसकी leaching हो जाती है. So that is why in soils में silica रहता नहीं, क्योंकि ये porous soils होती हैं, दानेदार होती हैं, porosity होती है. So बरसात का पानी बह जाता है. Soil जो है वो वाटर को होल्ड करके नहीं रख सकती, राइट? सो दैट इज व्हाई यहाँ पर जो हम इसकी जो सूटेबिलिटी है वो ज्यादातर रहती है मतलब ड्राउट टॉलरेंट जो क्रॉप्स हैं, राइट? सो उनके लिए इनकी सूटेबिलिटी ज्यादा रहती है, बिकॉज लेटराइट सॉइल की वाटर रिटेंशन कैपेसिटी नहीं होती, राइट? सो चलो हम नेक्स्ट करते हैं. सो पूर इन सिलिका, राइट? सो बिकॉज सिलिका इज लीच्ड अवे, हम लिख लेते हैं. सो बिकॉज, राइट, बिकॉज सिलिका इज लीच्ड अवे, राइट? बिकॉज सिलिका इज लीच्ड अवे while, right, while we can say while water passes through the soil, right? While water passes through the soil, right? So water में dissolve होके निकल जाता है जो सिलिका होता है. So that is why ये सिलिका की कमी रहती है soils में, right? So we can say it's porous and clay-like, porous and clay-like, right? वाटर या बरसात के बाद या सिंचाई के बाद इसकी जो टॉप लेयर है that becomes very hard, right? पहले तो वैसे इसमें पोरोसिटी है तो वाटर को रिटेन नहीं कर सकती. जब इसको आप इरिगेट कर देते हो तो जो इसकी टॉप लेयर है that becomes very hard. उसके हार्ड होने की वजह से जो वाटर है वो फिर ऊपर से बह जाता है और वाटर को फिर भी नहीं रिटेन कर सकती, राइट? सो फट जाती है ऊपर से सॉइल. चलो, सो इट बिकम्स हार्ड, राइट? सो देन नेक्स्ट इज जनरली सॉफ्ट. जनरली इट इज सॉफ्ट but becomes hard, right? But becomes hard on exposure. जो मैंने वहां लिखा था, जब इसका एक्सपोजर होता है तो फिर ये हार्ड हो जाती है, राइट? सो यू कैन से this can be used, this is easy for, therefore it is easy for quarrying there. Quarrying मिट्टी खोदना, it is easy for quarrying there, right? Quarrying, right? That is there, right? So we can say these soils are major sources of iron, aluminium and nickel. So इसमें से निकल वगैरह भी मिलता है, right? So iron वगैरह निकालते रही हैं countries in nickel, right? So is it so we can say it is mainly used for, right? It is mainly used for, we can say, brick making, road construction, right? Brick making, road construction, right, etc. So ये कंस्ट्रक्शन पर्पस के लिए ज्यादा सूट करती है ये वाली जो सॉइल रहती है, राइट? इसके लिए ज्यादा यूजफुल रहती है, ठीक है? सो बेटा द नेक्स्ट थिंग we can say here that as far as, right, that the next thing we can say that a lateritic soil Next, I would try to see. So, a lateritic soil. A lateritic soil, we can see, right? Lateritic soil. A the soil के आगे लिखना होता. So simple lateritic soil because soil is not countable. So lateritic soil, right? Lateritic soil, you can say, is, right? Lateritic soil is, you can say, not much useful for agriculture, right? Not much useful for agriculture. ये agriculture के लिए ज़्यादा useful नहीं होती, ठीक है? For agriculture, because of their, you can say, water retention capacity, because of their low water retention capacity, right? Low water retention capacity, because of their low water retention capacity. उनकी water retention capacity low होती है. So that is why it is not fit for, we can say, agriculture, right? And their surface become hard. Their surface become hard, right? Hard after the soils are irrigated. After the soils are irrigated, right? Therefore, it becomes difficult for the seeds to germinate. For the seeds to germinate. यहाँ seeds की germination की दिक्कत आती है, right? क्योंकि ऊपर से सरकी जाती है soil, right? So that is the form, right? But the next thing here is that but the soil can be reclaimed for agriculture purpose or reclaimed, right? But the soil can be reclaimed, right? But the soil can be reclaimed by right using we can say, right, bio reclamation, by using a process called, we can say, bio reclamation, right? Bio reclamation of degraded lands, right? इस तरीके से हम इसको कर सकते हैं, right? Degraded lands, right? So इस तरीके से it can be, you can say, made fit for the cultivation also, or it can be improved, you can say, right? So now we will talk little about this bio reclamation of degraded land, right? So bio reclamation of degraded land. So as far as the bio reclamation of degraded land is concerned, bio reclamation of degraded lands, right? So we can say that it involves, right? It involves. इसमें क्या क्या चीजें आती हैं? It involves, number one, right? Number one, we can say indigenous water harvesting methods. क्योंकि इसमें एक प्रॉब्लम होती है, right? कि ये water retain नहीं कर सकती, so that is why हम यहाँ indigenous water retention methods adopt कर लेते हैं, like we can say digging, right? इसके अंदर हम digging कर लेते हैं, right? Digging and making trenches, etc., right? Trenches, etc. So हम ऐसा करते हैं, इसके अंदर हम ये काम कर लेते हैं, right? So this is the one thing, and the second thing is that, right, indigenous. Second thing is that applying animal and plant residues. So animal and plant residues डालते हैं हम इसमें, means खाद डालते हैं, right? Applying animals and plant residues So this is the second, right? And as far as the third is concerned, right, planting high yield fruit trees. Planting high yield fruit trees, right? High yield fruit trees, इसमें हम high yield fruit trees plant करते हैं, and indigenous fruit trees, and we can say indigenous vegetation crops, right? Vegetable crops, sorry. Vegetable crops. So we use that also. Indigenous vegetable crops, right? That are indigenous vegetable crops, right? That are, we can say, right, two that are, we can say, tolerant of drought conditions, that are tolerant of drought conditions, जो drought को bear कर सकें, सूखे को जो bear कर सकें, drought conditions, right? So we can say like, right, like we can चलो tolerate drought conditions, हम यहाँ ये लिखते हैं, tolerate drought conditions, right? So these are good for the tea plantation, these are good for coffee plantation, right? And these are good for the oil palm cultivation, these are good for the cashew cultivation as well, cashew, right? So these are the various uses which can be, you can say, there of this soil, right? And the next important point here is that, right, so international crops, international crops, research institute, right, research institute for semi-arid, right, for semi-arid tropics, right? ये बन गया ICRISAP, right? So ICRISAP, semi-arid tropics, right? Has tried this, right? Has tried this process of reclamation of laterite soils, right? Laterite soils in we can say, right, laterite soils in Niger, and the results are positive, right? And the results are positive. So this is about the bio reclamation of we can say degraded lands, right? That how it can be bio reclaimed, right? So here now the one important point here is that International Crop Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics, right? So where this institute is located, have you heard about this at any time? Have you heard about this? No. So beta, this institute is located at Hyderabad in India, right? So this institute is located at Hyderabad in India. So sometimes वैसे questions पूछते हैं कि ये institute कहाँ है, क्योंकि ये institute national importance की institute है, India में है. So that is why this can be the obvious question. This question can be asked from it, right? So this is there. So now the next thing which I am going to discuss here with you, right? So this was about the laterite soils, right? So next is beta, Tripura has right, Tripura has rich reserves of natural gas, right? Rich reserves of natural gas, right? According to an estimate, right? So according to an estimate, right? Approximately 400, right? Approximately 400 billion, right? Cubic meter, right? 400 billion cubic meter, right? Of natural gas reserves are there in Tripura. Natural gas reserves are there in Tripura. there in Tripura. So ये होता है. So there are so many natural gas reserves are there in Tripura, right? So that is the right. So you must remember that among the northeastern states, right, Tripura is the smallest state.
No, sir. Area wise, on small Sikkim, northeastern.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes. So beta similarly, है ना, you can be asked that which is the largest state of, which is the largest among the northeastern states in terms of geographical area, right? Which among the following? Okay, so which among the following is the largest state of Northeast India? Northeast India in terms of area. वैसे भी बेटा अगर एग्जामिनेशन के अंदर बेटा दो टर्म्स यूज हो सकते हैं, एक तो बिगेस्ट लिखा हो सकता है, एक हो सकता है लार्जेस्ट. ठीक है, अगर वहां लार्जेस्ट लिखा दैट मीन्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ एरिया, राइट. अगर वहां बिगेस्ट लिखा दैट मीन्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ पॉपुलेशन, राइट. सो इस चीज को ध्यान में रखना. बिगेस्ट है तो इन टर्म्स ऑफ पॉपुलेशन, largest है तो in terms of area. Okay, so this is the question. So let's suppose here you can say options are number 1 is Assam, right, and the second option is, let's suppose that is here Manipur, right? And the third option is, let's suppose that is Meghalaya, right. Third option is Meghalaya, Nagaland. Third option is Nagaland, and the fourth option is, let's suppose, Arunachal Pradesh. So tell me.
Sir, Arunachal.
Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, ठीक है. Anybody else? Any other opinion? ठीक है, Arunachal Pradesh is the correct answer. Shabash. Right, so it is Arunachal Pradesh, which is the largest among the northeastern states of the country, right? So this is the
Excuse me, sir, please. मेरा ना रह गया states एक बारी repeat कर दो किहड़ियां लिखियां सी. Assam, Manipur,
Assam, Manipur, Nagaland, and Arunachal Pradesh.
Okay, okay, sir.
Assam, Manipur, Nagaland, and we can say Arunachal Pradesh, right? So the next thing is we can say that is the as far as the population is concerned, right? So beta among the northeastern states, right? Among the northeastern states, so Tripura is the second most populous state. Most populous state after Assam. After Assam, right? So बेटा देखो छोटी सी जो स्टेट है ना, और इसमें पॉपुलेशन असम के बाद सेकेंड लार्जेस्ट नॉर्थ ईस्ट में. तो व्हाट डज इट इंडिकेट? It implies that density of population in Tripura is very high, right? So this is what does it imply? It implies that density of population is in Tripura is very high, right? So it implies that the density of population in Tripura is very high. Right, so this is the density of population in Tripura is very high, right? So this is the right. So beta, as far as the population is concerned, Bengalis constitute about 70% population of Tripura, right? Bengalis constitute about 70% population of the state. Population of the state, right? और 30% में बाकी सभी हैं जो वहाँ के जो लोकल लोग लोकल लोग हैं जिन्हें हम त्रिपुरी पीपल कहते हैं, राइट, जो को बोरोक लैंग्वेज बोलते हैं. सो रेस्ट ऑफ 30 में है along with others, right, along with others. So it means the major religion of the state, that is the Hinduism. Okay, Hindu religion is the major religion in the state because Bengalis are the Hindu people, right? And जो वहाँ के जो लोकल लोग हैं जिन्हें हम त्रिपुरी लोग कहते हैं, जो को बोरोक लैंग्वेज बोलते हैं, they are basically the Christian people, right? They are basically the Christian people, right? The Christian people, right? And there is one language beta, which is this is important. Thadu, Thadu, okay? Thadu is an extinct language now. Extinct language of the region. Extinct language of the region. Language of the region, right? It is spoken by only 4 persons in a village. त्रिपुरा के किसी विलेज में सिर्फ 4 लोग हैं जो ये लैंग्वेज बोलते हैं, कोई नहीं, राइट? सो ये इम्पोर्टेंट है कि ये एक वो लैंग्वेज है त्रिपुरा की जो एक्सटिंक्ट हो चुकी है, right, which has become extinct. Okay, extinct हो चुकी है. Is it okay? Right. So as far as the ethnicity is concerned, in Tripura there are approximately 19 ethnic groups which are termed as scheduled tribes. Right, approximately 19 ethnic groups of Tripura are termed as scheduled tribes. Right. So more than 50% of population of Tripura is scheduled tribe population, right? More than 50% of population of Tripura is, we can say, is a scheduled tribe population, right? So now let us take problems in Tripura, right? Problems in Tripura. So as far as the problems of Tripura are concerned, as far as the problem is concerned, beta, basically there are 2 types of problems in the state. If I would take it from the point of view of law and order, or from the point of view of disturbance, right? So I'm not taking other problems. I'm discussing here those problems, right? So one type of problem is, we can say, that is emerging from the problem which has emerged from the geographical isolation of the state. तो आप के सामने मैं देख रहा हूँ सिमरनजीत के वॉल पे मैप लगा हुआ है, राइट, और सिमिलरली अमन के मैप पे भी की वॉल पे भी मैप लगा हुआ है. सो आप अपने अपने मैप्स देखो बेटा, है ना. आपको नजर आएगा कि त्रिपुरा ज्योग्राफिकली आइसोलेटेड है. एक तरह से ये बांग्लादेश में ही घिरा हुआ है, राइट. ऊपर से थोड़ा सा कनेक्शन है त्रिपुरा का इंडिया के साथ, अदरवाइज ये बांग्लादेश में ही घिरा हुआ है, राइट. सो बेटा, जब किसी एरिया की ऐसे ज्योग्राफिकल आइसोलेशन हो जाती है, तो ज्योग्राफिकल आइसोलेशन की वजह से फिर वहाँ क्या होता है बेटा, वहाँ लेस डेवलपमेंट होती है, डेवलपमेंट नहीं हो पाती बहुत ज़्यादा. सो वही त्रिपुरा में है. एक तो ये प्रॉब्लम है, वहाँ लोगों में ये प्रॉब्लम है कि हमारी डेवलपमेंट नहीं हो रही, राइट, लेस डेवलपमेंट. एंड दूसरी चीज क्या होती है कि पुअर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर होता है. पुअर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, राइट, ये भी एक प्रॉब्लम रहती है, राइट. एंड तीसरी प्रॉब्लम फिर ऐसी सिचुएशन में क्या रहती है बेटा, सो वी कैन से, राइट, हाई प्रेवलेंस ऑफ पॉवर्टी. high prevalence of poverty, high prevalence of poverty, and we can say unemployment and unemployment. बेटा जब ये सभी कंडीशंस बनती हैं तो क्या होता है इससे? इससे होता है लोगों के अंदर एक तरह की एंग्जाइटी फैलती है, सॉरी है ना, एंग्जाइटी होती है, राइट, डिससेटिस्फैक्शन होती है, राइट, सो ये चीजें होती हैं, राइट। सो लोग ऐसी हालत में क्या होता है, लोग थोड़ा रेवोल्यूशनरी बन जाते हैं, स्टेट में से लोगों का जो ट्रस्ट है वो धीरे धीरे कम होने लगता है और लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की प्रॉब्लम्स स्टार्ट होने लगती हैं। सो ये है, और फिर ऐसी सिचुएशन में इन लोगों को एक्सप्लॉइट करना इजी हो जाता है, जैसे नक्सलाइट या कोई और ग्रुप्स आते हैं, इन लोगों को आकर के फिर वो इंस्टिगेट करते हैं, है ना, कि आपके पास तो क्या है, राइट। सो ऐसी प्रॉब्लम्स इमर्ज होती हैं जहाँ गरीबी होती है, जहाँ डेवलपमेंट नहीं होती, जहाँ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पुअर होता है, राइट। सो उन सभी प्लेसेस पे, ऐसी सभी सिचुएशंस में जो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की सिचुएशंस बनती है, एक तो त्रिपुरा में ये प्रॉब्लम है, राइट, ये रियलिटी है। और जो दूसरी किस्म की अगर हम प्रॉब्लम की बात करें, ठीक है, सो वो प्रॉब्लम जो है दैट इज वी कैन से emerging from the infiltration of, right, we can say immigrant, infiltration of we can say Bengalis in the state, right, infiltration of Bengalis, right. So due to the infiltration of Bengalis, right, insurgency has arisen. There is insurgency, right, ethnic insurgency is there, we can say, right. And अगर मैं थर्ड एक पॉइंट ले लूं तो वो भी एक पॉइंट बनता है, राइट, वो भी एक पॉइंट बनता है, वो क्या है कि dissatisfaction over the merger of state into India, merger of state into India. There are certain sections which feel that the merger of state into India by their ruler, that was not in the interest of the state. So they you can say think that the merger of the state with Indian Union, that is in itself disputed, right, disputed. वो कहते किसी से पूछा तो नहीं, अपने आप ही मर्जर कर दिया, ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है, right. So now it means the insurgency mainly in the state of Tripura is due to these two factors. One factor is this and the second factor is this, right. So insurgency is due to these two factors, we can say, right. So that is there, right. So insurgency के पीछे जो मेन वजह फिर क्या बनी, बंगालीज तो आए, है ना। बंगालीज आने से क्या हुआ बेटा, बंगालीज आने से क्या हुआ बेटा कि the local people of Tripura who are called Tripuras, ठीक है, on the inflow of Bengali people, right, Bengali speaking people, right, Bengali speaking people into the state, right, the local residents of the state, right, who are Tripuris, right, Tripuris have become a minority, right. So बेटा आज क्या हुआ, इतने बंगाली आ गए कि 70% पॉपुलेशन है जो स्टेट की वो सिर्फ बंगालीज की है, राइट। और जो वहाँ के लोकल लोग हैं, राइट, सो उनका जो प्रपोर्शन है वो कम रह गई है, वो तो 25% से भी कम चले गए हैं, है ना। और जो वो बंगालीज है वो इतने ज्यादा हो गए हैं, राइट, वो बेटा इतने ज्यादा हो गए हैं कि वी कैन से sorry, more than 70% population of Bengalis is there. Right, so बेटा इसका फिर consequence क्या हुआ Bengalis के आने का, right? So this right, this we can say pushed the tribals, इससे जो वो tribal लोग हैं pushed tribals to the hills, right? उनकी जमीन ले ली गई, छीन ली गई, right? उनको hills में push कर दिया गया, tribal to the hills, right? And the we can say politics and we can say administration of the state today, politics and administration of the state today, right? Administration of the state today is dominated by Bengalis, is dominated by Bengalis. तो क्या है, जब पॉलिटिक्स और बाकी सब चीजों को जब बंगाली डोमिनेट कर गए, so then obviously the question comes into the mind of the local people that we have been, you can say, right, pushed, you can say, far away from the, you can say, right, institutions, from the political institutions of the state or like that. So that is why those people do have the resentment, right? So that is why those people do have a resentment like this, right? कि ये जो हो रहा है, this is not happening in their interest, right? Right? So those people are thinking like that. Okay. So now the next important thing is that, right? So जब ये हुआ, जब उनको ये महसूस हुआ कि हमें तो इन्होंने पीछे धकेल दिया है, हमारे पास तो अब जमीन के राइट्स भी इन्होंने ले लिए हैं, राइट? हमें तो जंगलों में धकेल दिया है, और पॉलिटिक्स में भी ये डोमिनेट कर रहे हैं, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में भी ये लोग डोमिनेट कर रहे हैं। जब कुछ ऐसा हुआ, राइट, तो बेटा फिर उसके बाद फिर क्या हुआ, राइट? सो इट लेड टू clashes, right? It led to clashes between, right, between, we can say, Tripuris and Bengali speaking people, right? It led to clashes between Tripuris and Bengali speaking people, right? So इससे उनके बीच में clashes start हो गए between Tripuris and Bengali speaking people, right? The similar sentiment was prevailing in the entire northeast, पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में। असम में भी वैसा ही था कि बाहर के लोग आ गए, मणिपुर में भी वैसा ही था, बाहर के लोग आ गए, मेघालय में भी वैसा ही था। So the similar sentiment was prevailing in the entire northeast, right? The similar sentiment, right, was prevailing in the entire northeast, right? पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में ऐसा ही सेंटिमेंट था जो प्रिवेल कर रहा था, राइट? प्रिवेलिंग इन द नॉर्थ ईस्ट। सो अब क्या हुआ बेटा कि ये मान लीजिए एक नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न रीजन है, राइट? ये मान लीजिए एक नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न रीजन है। इस रीजन में बेटा एक प्रॉब्लम असम में चल रही है, उनकी प्रॉब्लम भी सेम है, वो भी जो बाहर से इमिग्रेंट आए हैं उनके खिलाफ लड़ रहे हैं। एक प्रॉब्लम बेटा अरुणाचल प्रदेश में चल रही है, वो भी सेम है, वो भी कहते हैं कि जो बाहर से इमिग्रेंट आए हैं उनको बाहर निकालो, चकमा है जॉब वालों को सिटीजनशिप मत दो, है ना। उधर बेटा एक मणिपुर में प्रॉब्लम चल रही है, वो भी वैसी है। उधर मिजोरम में प्रॉब्लम चल रही है, वो भी वैसी है ना। रेस्ट ऑफ द स्टेट्स अभी हमने डिस्कस कर दी, नागालैंड में भी कुछ ऐसी प्रॉब्लम चल रही है, मतलब हर जगह पे ऐसी प्रॉब्लम चल रही है। एंड उधर बेटा उधर ये त्रिपुरा में चल रही है प्रॉब्लम, वो भी प्रॉब्लम ऐसी है, राइट? सो फिर क्या हुआ, जितने ग्रुप, राइट, लेट्स सपोज वन ग्रुप इज वर्किंग इन you can say Assam, other is working in Arunachal, third group is active in Meghalaya, fourth in Mizoram, fifth in this Tripura, right? So then kya hai, the interests of all groups are common, right? That is why they, we can say, started supporting each other, right? और जब वो एक दूसरे को सपोर्ट करने लगे तो क्या हुआ, इनके बीच में एक चेन बन गई, इनके बीच में एक कनेक्शन बन गया पूरा, राइट? सो बेटा जब ऐसी सिचुएशन हो गई, राइट, सो देन क्या हुआ बेटा it led to, जब ऐसी सिचुएशन हुई तो then क्या हुआ, it led to, right, it led to, we can say, deadly conflicts. It led to deadly conflicts, right, between Indian armed forces, and the rebel groups, right? So एक तरफ इंडियन आर्म्ड फोर्सेस थी, दूसरी तरफ वो रिबेल ग्रुप्स थे जो चाहते थे कि आउटसाइडर्स को बाहर निकालो. सो उनके बीच में क्लैशेस होने शुरू हो गए. सो ये काम चलता रहा, राइट. सो नाउ let us come on the militant outfits in the state of Tripura, right? Militant outfits in the state of Tripura, right? Militant outfits in Tripura. So as far as the militant outfits are concerned, right, we would like to say that insurgency in Tripura with the formation of, right, with the formation of, right, we can say Tripura Upjati Juba Samiti, Tripura Upjati Juba Samiti in 1971. 1971 में इसकी फॉर्मेशन हुई, राइट, उपजाति जोबा समिति. सो दैट मीन्स ये एक यूथ आउटफिट थी, राइट. सो ये लोग चाहते थे कि जो नॉन त्रिपुरीज हैं उनको स्टेट में शरण ना दी जाए, राइट. सो बेसिक पर्पस वही था इनका. एंड आफ्टर दैट another group was formed, that is the we can say, right, so that is Tripura National Volunteers. That was a militant group, Tripura National Volunteers, right. A militant group we can see, right, formed in you can say 1981. तो ये 1981 में ग्रुप बनाया गया and was active and was functional, you can say, was functional till 1989. ये 1989 तक एक्टिव रहा ये ग्रुप. उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि you can say two prominent groups were formed, two prominent organizations were formed, right. Prominent, you can say, organizations were formed, right. Two prominent organizations were formed, right. कौन सी दो prominent organization को form किया गया? Number one, that was a National Liberation Front of Tripura. National Liberation Front of Tripura. So that was one organization which was formed, right? National Liberation Front of Tripura, which was formed in 19, you can say, right, which was formed in 19, in 19, you can say 90 के आसपास ये बना था, right, 1989 से 90 में बना था. And the second group which was formed, that was the All Tripura Tiger Force. All Tripura Tiger Force. So this was the second group which was formed, right. All Tripura Tiger Force was the second group which was formed. Right. So this is the right. So as far as this group is concerned, right, इसको हम abbreviate करके कह लेते हैं, right. So that is the NLFT. NLFT कह लेते हैं इसको हम abbreviate करके, National Liberation Front of Tripura. This is NLFT, right. और जो दूसरा है उसको हम कह लेते हैं ATTF, right, क्योंकि आगे हम यूज करेंगे. So that is why आपको ये होना चाहिए, right. So इसको हम ये कह लेते हैं abbreviate करके, right. So these were the militant groups which were formed there, right. So ये हो गया, right. So beta now as far as, right, so ये लोगों की कुछ डिमांड्स थी वो हम डिस्कस करते हैं आगे चलते हैं, राइट. सो देन क्या हुआ, जब बेटा ये ग्रुप फॉर्म हुए, जब ये ग्रुप फॉर्म किए गए, तो फिर बेटा इसके रिएक्शन में, राइट, सो इन द रिएक्शन, राइट, इन द रिएक्शन, राइट, सो इन द रिएक्शन the Bengalis, in the reaction the Bengalis also formed their group, for protection. ये अपनी प्रोटेक्शन के लिए उन्होंने भी ग्रुप बना लिया, राइट, also formed their group for their protection, right. The group was named, you can say, that is the United Bengali Liberation Front. United Bengali Liberation Front was the name of the group. Liberation Front was the name of the group. So UBLF was the name of that group. United Bengali Liberation Front, that was formed, right? So this group was, you can say, supported by the Communist Party of the Bengal, of the Tripura. Sorry. Right, beta, one thing here is important, that like Bengal, right, Tripura was also, you can say, dominated by the communists, right. Bengal में भी communist dominating रहे, और त्रिपुरा में भी बेटा जो communist थे वो dominating रहे, right. So and बेटा वो जो त्रिपुरा में, right, वो जो त्रिपुरा में जो you can say जो वो था, है ना, त्रिपुरा में जो कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी थी, क्योंकि उनकी गवर्नमेंट्स भी रही वहाँ, तो उन लोगों ने इनको सपोर्ट किया, राइट, इनको आर्म्स दिए, इनको पैसा दिया, है ना, इन ग्रुप्स को, क्योंकि वो बंगालीज के लिए उनका सॉफ्ट कॉर्नर था, वो ऑब्वियसली बंगालीज लोगों से ही कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी को सपोर्ट थी, so that is fine, right. So the thing happened like that, right. So now let us move ahead, बस थोड़ा सा रहता है, right. So now let us move ahead. So there was, you can say, due to the, so now there is the next important point is that, so what is their demand, right? So firstly मैं लेता हूँ as far as the militancy is concerned, right? Militancy का बेटा ये रहा कि सबसे पहले तो मैं ये लेता हूँ कि 1990 में बेसिकली स्टेट में थोड़ा सा मिलिटेंसी का शुरुआत हुआ था, राइट, ग्रुप बनने स्टार्ट हो गए थे पहले, लेकिन शुरुआत मिलिटेंसी का 1990 में होता है, और 1990 से लेकर के बेटा इस पीरियड तक टिल 1995, राइट, टिल 1995, right. So there was, we can say, low key insurgency, means insurgency थी, but that was very low, right. So there was low key insurgency. So low key insurgency was there, means कोई बहुत ज्यादा गड़बड़ नहीं थी. So उसके बाद बेटा 1995 से लेकर के 2004 तक, right, 1995 से लेकर के 2004 तक there was growth in, you can say, growth in its dimension and magnitude, right. So we can say, you can say it escalated, right, it got escalated to the extreme, so ये बहुत बड़ी इस समय में, right, इस समय में ये बहुत increase हुई during that time, right. And better after that you can say from the year 2004 onwards the meltdown started, the meltdown of insurgency in the state started. So ये एक ऐसा phase है, right, meltdown started, and as of today there is no such problem in the, right, meltdown started, right? As of today, there is no much, you can say, no such incidents are there, right? So it is almost, we can say, ओके, ऑलमोस्ट कंप्लीट, ठीक है। सो ये जो मेल्ट डाउन है, इसके पीछे बेटा दो पर्संस का बहुत ही बड़ा हाथ है, उसको हम डिस्कस करेंगे कि उन्होंने किया क्या था। एक तो बेटा वहां के जो चीफ मिनिस्टर थे एट दैट टाइम, राइट, चीफ मिनिस्टर थे, राइट, उनका नाम था मानिक सरकार, मानिक सरकार। So he was very intelligent person and he acted very, you can say, in a very well manner to control the problem in the state, right? And second बेटा उस समय के जो गवर्नर थे, he was D.N. सहाया, D.N. सहाया। और बेटा इन दोनों लोगों ने मिलके बहुत अच्छा काम किया और त्रिपुरा के अंदर जो मिलिटेंसी है उसको पूरी तरीके से कंट्रोल कर लिया, इंसर्जेंसी को इन्होंने कंट्रोल कर लिया। ये पर्सन बेटा है, यू कैन से, ये पर्सन गवर्नर रहे हैं, राइट, 2003 से लेकर के 2009 तक ये पर्सन गवर्नर रहे हैं हमारे त्रिपुरा के। सो दैट इज व्हाई दीज टू पर्सन्स डिड, यू कैन से, मार्वेलस वर्क, राइट, टू कंट्रोल द लिमिटेशन, टू कंट्रोल द militancy in the state of Tripura. Okay, so now the next thing is that what is the demand of militants? What was the demand of insurgents in the state? Insurgent क्या मांगते थे स्टेट के अंदर, क्योंकि वो तो कभी भी फिर राइट स्टार्ट हो सकती है वो डिमांड, तो क्योंकि ऐसे सोल्यूशन होते हैं जो वो एक टाइम के लिए होते हैं, कभी भी कोई और एलिमेंट आ सकता है, वो लोगों के सेंटिमेंट्स को फिर मैनिपुलेट कर सकता है, राइट, अपने फायदे के लिए या ऐसी बातों के लिए। सो what was the demand of insurgents? So as far as the demand of insurgents is concerned, the first thing, which is the very important thing, is that according to them, right, according to them, the merger of Tripura with India is disputed. So there is one section which holds this view कि त्रिपुरा को भारत में शामिल करना उनके रूलर की गलती थी, उस समय जो रूलर थे। दिस इज वन, राइट। दूसरा, वो क्या मांगते हैं? सॉवरेनिटी। कुछ लोग ये कहते हैं कि हमें सॉवरेनिटी चाहिए, हमें फ्रीडम चाहिए, वो आजादी मांगते हैं, राइट। दे डिमांड सॉवरेनिटी आल्सो। एंड नंबर 3, दे डिमांड डिपोर्टेशन ऑफ इलीगल इमिग्रेंट्स। वो कहते हैं कि जो लोग यहाँ गैर कानूनी तरीके से आए हैं उनको डिपोर्ट कर दिया जाए, उनको वापस भेज दिया जाए, एक्सपेल कर दिया जाए स्टेट में से, राइट। सो दिस इज देयर नेक्स्ट डिमांड, राइट। एंड कुछ लोगों की ये डिमांड है कि इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ त्रिपुरा मर्जर एग्रीमेंट। वो कहते हैं कि जो त्रिपुरा के मर्जर के टाइम पे भारत में जब वो मर्ज हुआ, उस टाइम पे जो एग्रीमेंट लिखा था वो पूरी तरीके से इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं हुआ। सो उसको पूरे तरीके से इम्प्लीमेंट करो, जो भी उसमें और रहता है उसको भी इम्प्लीमेंट करो, दैट इज। एंड द नेक्स्ट डिमांड इज restoration of right tribal land to them ट्राइबल की लैंड ट्राइबल को वापस दो, राइट। अंडर द त्रिपुरा वी कैन से, राइट, लैंड रिफॉर्म्स एक्ट ऑफ 1960, त्रिपुरा लैंड रिफॉर्म्स एक्ट ऑफ 1960। कितने 1960 के त्रिपुरा लैंड रिफॉर्म्स एक्ट के अंदर जो भी ट्राइबल की लैंड है वो ट्राइबल को दो, वापस करो। सो ये उनकी पर्टिकुलर डिमांड्स हैं, ये उनकी यू कैन से पर्टिकुलर मांगते हैं, वो जो भी मांगते हैं, राइट। सो इनको इस बेटा इंसर्जेंसी के इतने हाई स्केल पे चले जाने के पीछे रीजन क्या था, राइट। देयर वाज सपोर्ट फ्रॉम द बांग्लादेश, राइट, इनको बांग्लादेश से सपोर्ट मिलती थी। वन इज दैट, राइट, सपोर्ट फ्रॉम बांग्लादेश। बांग्लादेश वाज अ सेफ हेवन फॉर देम। सेफ हेवन कैसे था कि वहां बॉर्डर की पोरोसिटी है, वो लोग इंडिया में एक्शन करके और वो जाके बांग्लादेश में छुप जाते थे और इंडिया की पुलिस कुछ नहीं कर सकती थी, राइट। सो वन रीजन वाज दैट बांग्लादेश वाज अ सेफ हेवन फॉर देम, राइट, सेफ हेवन, उनके लिए सेफ हेवन, राइट। दूसरी चीज थी कि बांग्लादेश के थ्रू उनको लॉजिस्टिक सपोर्ट मिलती थी। लॉजिस्टिक सपोर्ट मीन्स जो कोई साजो सामान चाहिए उनको अपनी एक्टिविटीज को अंजाम देने के लिए वो मिलता था, लॉजिस्टिक सपोर्ट मिलती थी, राइट। सो देन you can say external agencies were also supporting, external agencies were also supporting, right, supporting insurgents in Tripura, insurgents in Tripura, we can say, right, insurgents in Tripura through, right, through Bangladesh. So we Bangladesh के through इनको support कर रही थी, right. So that was the problem for India, right. So that was there, right. So you can say these were the main reasons, prominent reasons, right. Even Bangladesh में इनके training camp भी होते थे, सब कुछ होता था, right? So such was the things which were there. So now the next last point जो है which we are going to discuss here, that the reasons behind the meltdown. ऐसे स्केल पे जाके फिर ये कंट्रोल क्यों होगी, राइट, रीजंस बिहाइंड द मेल्टडाउन, राइट। इसमें बेटा जो मेन रीजन है बेटा, जो मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि जो वहां का जो चीफ मिनिस्टर था उसने बहुत इन्वॉल्व होकर वर्क किया, राइट। सो इसके लिए उनको यू कैन से दाद देनी बनती, राइट। सो इसके लिए बेटा उन्होंने क्या बेटा किया, राइट। सो सबसे पहली बात जो उनकी काउंटर इंसर्जेंसी अप्रोच थी, दैट वाज वेरी मार्वेलस अप्रोच, राइट। सो उनकी काउंटर जो थी, उनकी जो काउंटर इंसर्जेंसी अप्रोच थी, जो काउंटर इंसर्जेंसी अप्रोच, राइट। सो जो उनकी ये अप्रोच थी, उस अप्रोच में उन्होंने बेटा बहुत कुछ किया। क्या क्या किया बेटा, एक तरफ तो उन्होंने बेटा क्या क्या किया, उन्होंने बेटा कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग स्टार्ट किया, उन लोगों के साथ कांटेक्ट में आए, कांटेक्ट में आके उन लोगों के साथ राफ्ता बनाया, उन लोगों का कॉन्फिडेंस विन किया, राइट। क्योंकि जब तक उनके मन में ये है कि हम तो पराए हैं, हमारी कोई सुनता नहीं है, तब तक वो बगावत पे रहेंगे। उन्होंने कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्ड किया। मींस कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग का ये मतलब है कि जो गैप था उसको फिल किया, क्योंकि वो एक स्टेज ऐसी आ जाती है जब लोगों को स्टेज से घृणा हो जाती है, नफरत हो जाती है ना। सो वो उस गैप को फिल करना होता है, राइट। उस गैप को फिल करने के लिए स्टेप बाय स्टेप, स्टेप बाय स्टेप, स्टेप बाय स्टेप, है ना, क्लोज जाना होता है। सो ये इसको हम कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग कहते हैं, सो दैट आपको भी हमारे साथ कंफर्टेबल लगे और हमें भी आपके साथ कंफर्टेबल लगे। ये कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग होता है अगर कल को बात करनी है, राइट। सो इसको हम कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग कहते हैं। सो दैट वाज वन थिंग, राइट। एंड दूसरी चीज यू कैन से ही ट्राई टू टैकल द थिंग्स, यू कैन से साइकोलॉजिकली आल्सो, राइट। सो वी कैन से psychological approach, right, psychological approach, right. He worked on that also, psychological approach, right. So as far as the psychological approach was concerned, right, in psychological approach, right, you can say it was important to change their perception about the state, right. क्योंकि पिछले अरसे में उनकी जो एक परसेप्शन बन चुकी थी स्टेट के प्रति, दैट वाज द नेगेटिव परसेप्शन कि स्टेट तो हमारी नहीं है, स्टेट तो हमारे लिए सोचती नहीं है, राइट। एक सॉर्ट ऑफ नेगेटिव परसेप्शन बन चुकी थी। सो उस नेगेटिव परसेप्शन को जो करेक्ट करना था, राइट, उसके लिए हमें उनकी साइकोलॉजी को टच करना था, राइट, सो हमें वहां एंटर होना था, सो दैट इज वाई उसके लिए साइकोलॉजिकल साइकोथेरेपी जरूरी थी, सो वो भी हमने की, राइट। एंड देन क्या था नेक्स्ट चीज, जब कोई ऐसा इशू उठता है तब उस इशू को समटाइम्स मीडिया उस इशू को आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल बना देता है, क्योंकि मीडिया पता नहीं क्या क्या इररिस्पॉन्सिबली समटाइम्स कुछ स्टेटमेंट्स देता रहता है समटाइम्स, और उससे क्या होता है कि प्रॉब्लम जो एक्सैजरेट हो जाती है, प्रॉब्लम होती कुछ और है और उसका रंग कुछ और बन के सामने आता है आपके, सो वो हो जाता है। सो दैट इज व्हाई इन्होंने अपनी अप्रोच में क्या किया, मैनेजमेंट ऑफ मीडिया, मीडिया को इन्होंने बहुत बाखूबी मैनेज किया, सो दैट मीडिया लोगों को गुमराह ना कर सके, मीडिया गलत इंफॉर्मेशन ना प्रोवाइड कर सके, राइट। सो दैट वाज इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग व्हिच दे डिड, राइट, मार्वेलसली। So management of media. So then after the management of media, right, so we can say they we can say started a sort of, right, you can say uh, they started a sort of civic action program, right, civic action program, लोगों की तरफ से एक्शन प्रोग्राम शुरू करवाए गए, राइट, एक्शन प्रोग्राम ऑफ सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस, राइट। सो ये भी काम उन्होंने करवाए, स्विक एक्शन प्रोग्राम शुरू करवाए, राइट, सो ये हुआ। एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट बेटा पॉलिटिकल प्रोसेस वाज आल्सो देयर, क्योंकि साथ साथ पॉलिटिकल प्रोसेस तो चलते ही हैं बेटा, बातचीत तो चलनी होती है साथ साथ ही, सो पॉलिटिकल प्रोसेसेस वर आल्सो देयर, जो भी हमने पॉलिटिकली काम करने थे, राइट, वो भी चलते रहे, right, politically process was there, right, so political process was also exercised, so that was basically there, right, that was there, right. And beta apart from you can say so uh, they you can say tried to keep a, you can say, very good control over the state forces and the armed forces of the center, right. So बाकमाल कोऑर्डिनेशन जिसे हम कहते हैं उसको इंश्योर किया, right, between the central and state forces, right, central and state forces. So कई बार वहाँ कोऑर्डिनेशन की दिक्कत आती है, right, ईगो इश्यूज आ जाते हैं, right, और प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं, कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं हो पाती। सो ये चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब और उस टाइम के गवर्नर साहब ने ये बहुत उन्होंने बाखूबी किया काम, राइट। उन्होंने क्या किया बेटा, दे फॉर्म्ड ए हाई लेवल कमेटी, एंड दैट हाई लेवल कमेटी वाज कंसिस्टिंग ऑफ द चीफ मिनिस्टर एंड द गवर्नर ऑफ द स्टेट आल्सो इन दैट कमेटी, राइट। सो बेटा दैट इज व्हाई दे वर मॉनिटरिंग सो क्लोजली the entire anti-insurgency operation which was carried on by the government, right, that beta, that they, you can say, did it very effectively. And the beautiful thing is that otherwise जब ऐसा होता है, जब इंसर्जेंसी को कंट्रोल किया जाता है तो ह्यूमन राइट्स वायोलेशन की बेटा कंप्लेंट्स आती है, एंड बेटा इन त्रिपुरा there was not a single major complaint of a human rights violation. So this was the best part of this, you can say, counter-insurgency management of that, or in the state of Tripura. There was not a single complaint of right, major violation of the human rights, right, major violation of the human rights, right. So that was due to this proper coordination and all these things, right. Right, and then beta there was no antipathy against the police, against the security forces, against the in the minds of the citizens. Otherwise क्या होता है बेटा, जहां पर कुछ ऐसा आता है बेटा तो एंटीपैथी डेवलप हो जाती है, मींस लोग सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस को हेट करने लगते हैं, राइट, लोगों को सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस के प्रति सिंपैथी नहीं रहती, राइट, लोग उनको कोऑपरेट नहीं करते, लोग उनको अकोमोडेट नहीं करते, राइट। सो वो होती है एंटीपैथी डेवलप हो जाना, राइट। लोगों को अपने दुश्मन मानने लगते हैं। सो बेटा इन्होंने ये भी मैनेज किया कि सिटीजन्स के अंदर सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस के प्रति या अगेंस्ट एंटीपैथी डेवलप ना हो, राइट। सो उनका एटीट्यूड पॉजिटिव रहे इनके, राइट। सो बेटा इन सब चीजों को लेते हुए इन्होंने बहुत एक कंस्ट्रक्टिव एंड पॉजिटिव तरीके से उन्होंने त्रिपुरा के अंदर इंसर्जेंसी को मैनेज किया। एंड आज थैंक गॉड के त्रिपुरा के अंदर ऐसी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। ओके। सो बेटा ये वाली जो बेटा चीजें थी, ये बेटा इसलिए बतानी जरूरी थी कि कल को आपको कुछ ऐसा क्वेश्चन पूछ लेते हैं, राइट, के वेरियस स्टेट्स में जो इंसर्जेंसी चल रही है, राइट, उसको कैसे कंट्रोल किया जा सकता है, आप सजेशंस दो, राइट। सो वहां पर बेटा आप ये त्रिपुरा मॉडल पूरे फिट कर सकते हो, ठीक है। तो आपका बेटा क्वेश्चन बन गया, आंसर हो गया
Yes,
आपका,
sir.
राइट।
Very,
Yes, sir.
very
Yes,
nice, sir. Very
yes,
nice.
yes. So beta, that is why I told you all this, right? So today's lecture is over. If you want to ask anything, please, you can ask.
Thank